Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to the video, welcome to my garage. In today's video, we're going to be changing out the drive-by-wire throttle body on Wratchet. So what's been happening is, now that I've been able to do a couple of test drives with Wratchet, I've been running into an issue where the throttle, it kind of comes up smooth, and then it gets hung up and it jumps. And it took me about 2 weeks to figure out what the heck was happening here. At first, I thought it was something with the Infinity ECU, but then when I was able to use the Infinity ECU to actually drill down into my drive-by-wire and really look at how it was operating, then I was able to see what the issue was. So what I'm going to do is, in this video, I'm going to replace the drive-by-wire. I've got a new one. I haven't replaced it yet, so I don't know if that's going to solve the problem, but we'll go through that together. But before I do that, I'm going to hook up the laptop, and then I'm going to show you guys what it's doing so that you fully understand the issue that I was having before we change it out. Alright, so now if we're looking at the Infinity tuner, you'll see on the left here, this gauge, I've got the drive-by-wire target, and then next to that on the right, I've got the drive-by-wire throttle position sensor. The throttle position sensor is literally reading the throttle position sensor on the throttle body itself. That doesn't have anything to do with the Infinity. It's just telling us this is the throttle position of the throttle body, and then our target is the signal that the Infinity is telling the throttle body to be at. So you see, as I hit the throttle pedal, these pretty much track themselves pretty good. Especially the faster you go, the more it tracks. So that works pretty well. If you're moving the pedal around, I haven't had any problems, although I've just been sputtering up and down the street, so I obviously haven't been going from 0 to 100% throttle at all, to be honest with you. Now here's where the problem kicks in, at least as far as I can tell. And I'll show you exactly why the throttle body does this in a minute. I'll step out of here, I'll grab the new throttle body, and I'll show you what's happening. But right at about 21% throttle, these throttle bodies, at least the one I'm using, which is the Chevy LS3 Gold Blade throttle body, at 21% it transitions from closing to opening. And I'll show you that separately here in a minute. So what's happening with me is really between 20 and 40%. You'll see right now I'm at 20%. If I slowly climb up through here, if you watch the drive-by-wire throttle position sensor, you'll see it goes stagnant and then it jumps around. I don't think you'll be able to hear that, but you can even hear it flutter around a little bit. And I think what's happening is it's getting caught up in the transition where it meets that 21%. Like that one right there. Right now it's, well, actually what it does is it jumps past, and then the PID loop brings it back in, but that all takes some time. So right now it's right on. I'll go up to about 40, and then I'll slowly come down. And then you just see, it just jumped from like 18, or from like 28 down to 18, and then it slowly brings itself back up. And what that's doing is it's causing it, as I'm just sputtering down the street and giving it a little bit more throttle, that throttle body will hang up a little bit, and then it'll jump about 10%. And in the vehicle, you'll feel that a lot. You'll be, and it'll kind of bark and then bring itself back down. And you know, it's not the end of the world, but it's not really that pleasant. I hope you guys can see this on the gauge, because I'm just moving the actual throttle pedal a little bit, and it's jumping all over the place. And I've got a camera on the throttle body, so let's see if you can see it in that as well. But regardless, that's the situation that I'm having. So if we go to the data here, this white line is the target, and the green line is the throttle body. And you can see, like right here, where they're tracking together, but then it reaches a certain point here, and then the throttle body itself just jumps up. And then coming down, it jumps down. Going up, it jumps up, jumps down. So what it's doing is it tracks to a point, but then right around that transition, it jumps. And again, it's not the end of the world. I don't think I would even notice this if I was just tearing it loose at the park. But when I'm driving around on the streets, that jumping around is a little bit annoying. And so I'm going to see if replacing the throttle body fixes that. And so what I'm going to do is, I feel like that is probably slop in the throttle body, because this throttle body I got from the junkyard. So I really don't know what kind of condition it's in. So I bought a brand new one, so I'm going to swap it out. I'm going to recalibrate it, and then we're going to do the exact same thing, and we're going to see if it tracks a little bit better. So I've actually already taken a lot of this apart to save time. Okay, so here's the throttle bodies. This is the old one that I just took off. This is the one from the junkyard. It didn't look bad, and like I said, aside from just that little jump between 20 and 40%, it's worked really well. But regardless, I bought a brand new one, and I'll see if this one is a little bit more accurate. Now here's what I was talking about on that jump. This one right here in the off state, when it doesn't have any power and the stepper motor isn't being driven by anything, the blade sits at around 21%. That's its neutral position. And you can see it, you gotta push it a little bit to close it, so now it's 100% closed. And then you let it go and it rests at, when I put that in and calibrate it, I'm sure this is gonna come out to be about 21%. And then you have to drive it to 100% throttle. And what's happening, and the only reason I know that is because when I calibrate this, I can see the neutral point, and I know that it's at 21%. And when I track it right around that 21%, I think when this is transitioning from closing to opening is when it's jumping. I'm hoping that it's because the old one is worn out and it just gets caught up a little bit. I'm hoping the new one is real smooth, but I'm not going to know that until I put this in and try. So I'm not going to permanently mount this yet. For the purpose of this video, I'm just going to bolt it in place, calibrate it, and then we'll see how it works. And then from, if everything's good there, then when the video's done, I'll thread lock all this stuff and mount it on here permanent. Oh look, there's there's Doug. Doug, it's like 11:30. How are you so tired already? Yeah, but you're hanging by me, so that's good. We'll take that as a win. Okay, now we've got the new drive-by-wire throttle body in there. I've calibrated it. I didn't want to show the calibration because that's a whole process in and of itself. Maybe I'll do another video at some point doing that, but it's all calibrated, so let's see how it looks. So if we go to the infinity here, I've got my two gauges, got everything set up so that it's tracking pretty good. The PID loop is the same. I didn't change any of that stuff. It did change from the previous throttle body's neutral position was 21. This one's neutral position is 26. Now if we go to logging, now we can track it. But you'll see, boop, right there. It still does hop around. So how do you like that? It doesn't happen once you go beyond that trip point, which is around 26. So anything above that, you can go real slow and it's real smooth. Same thing, if you stay below it, it tracks real good. It's real smooth and consistent. But as soon as you get around that 26, boop, right there, it just jumped. You can see it on the graph, and I saw it on the gauge. Which, I wish this would have solved it perfectly. I was hoping it would. I mean, what the hell do I know? I'm still going to post this video up just so you guys can see what tuning and working on this stuff is like. I am probably splitting hairs here. I said the only time I notice this is when I'm just kind of lightly cruising up and down the neighborhood streets. And to be honest with you, I've done a test drive since I figured out what the problem was, And now that I understand what the problem was, it doesn't really bother me as much. Not to say that it's not a problem, because it is a problem. And maybe one day I'll figure out either a different throttle body that doesn't do it, or just maybe there is a way to tune it out of there. But I don't know. You can actually hear the throttle body like when it makes that transition. So I'm not completely surprised that it does this. But regardless, I now have a new throttle body in there. Like I said, it's now that I know what the issue is. Last time I did a little test drive, it didn't even really bother me. But this one, if I did have to say one thing, I feel like this one might be a little bit less than the other one, but I don't know. I might just be convincing myself of things there. All right, that's it for this video, guys. I don't know if you want to call this one a win or a fail. I think I'm in the same situation I was before, but regardless, I learned a lot about tuning, setting up, and making adjustments in the Infinity and Tuner. So thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope it's helping you with whatever you might be working on, and I hope to see you on the next video. Take care.